Friday. I'm your host, Nicole, with my lovely sidekick co host, Stephanie and Tina, today. And today we will be talking about rebuilding self trust. Wednesday, we talked about what it looks like when we aren't working with trusting ourselves and what it looks like today on the rebuild. And we're also going to be bringing in Anana, female archetype. Hopefully, I said it right. Um, that we thought was a great segue of energy to kind of like work with what we will be talking about. And we'll be sharing kind of what we learned individually on that little journey about this female archetype that I came across. So looking forward to that. Just wanted to share with you guys like around the current energies. Um, if y'all can relate, y'all go relate through a hand. Overwhelm and emotional fatigue, guys. Like, oh my on the emotional fatigue is overwhelming. Getting grounded, super important. Also feelings of like wanting change, but feeling stuck, like how? Like this isn't working for me. How do we change it? And with us being in Taurus season, it's a lot about stability, right? It could be about our money. Venus, it because ruled by Venus, which is love. Oh, I'm frozen on my face. You guys can still hear me talking, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give a kiss to everybody today. There we go. But Venus, it's all about love and love for yourself. And what does it look like for me as an example? When we're not trusting ourselves, is that kind of like saying a boundary and then just saying, I'm not going to follow through on that boundary. Ladies, what are your takes?
I'm in a time right now where boundaries are really big and trusting um the choices that I'm going to be making soon. So, I need to really dig into myself and trust myself that this is what I need for myself, for me.
Ooh, like Anana's giving you the opportunity to really hone in on those boundaries, huh?
Yep.
After diving like a bird right into that water to pull it out.
Yep.
That's kind of the way that I'm seeing that energy there. Well, that's powerful. And if you need to share deeper at all, we're here as a safe space to help you unpack that. Tina's mentioned being kind of at a overflow of how much she has been able to take in this week. If you want to touch more on that, how is this energy kind of showing up for you that you're experiencing?
Well, I guess to go start off of what Stephanie just said, we all have our boundaries. We've set boundaries through different processes in our life. But I think this week I allowed some of those boundaries to creep away, and which has caused some of the chaotic moments in my head this week. So it's not that anything specifically took place. It was just the accumulation of all these things. I'm like, what? Why did I agree? What did I agree to? Why did I say yes? What? I don't. How did I get here? So I think that's the overflow of emotion for me is just truly bound. I let them slip, and I don't think I have a level of self awareness right now as to why. Perhaps I thought the person that was needing it needed somebody. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's where I kind of spiraled this week.
Hmm.
And
And
sometimes as
that
being like a fixer, or just even, you know, feminine in itself, we want to always help people, and sometimes we don't realize that we're probably doing more than we need to do or we should be doing or we're capable of doing.
and falling off on the boundaries, usually when we're not stepping in our boundaries, we usually fall into either it's victim or people pleasing, right?
Right.
So, and that's P, you are for the world. You are for helping people. You've been very supportive on our journeys, and we greatly appreciate that as well too. Just always know your worth and your value, you know. And if you need a reminder, I'll always cheerlead you in the corner and let you know.
Yeah, I know that. Um, but I think the funny part is when you just sit back and you're like, well, I didn't really get a lot accomplished this week, so how did I get here? And then I have to replay the conversations I've had and the people that leaned into me this week, and I was just like, that's what it was. It was way too much. These cardinals are gonna kill me.
I think they're trying to tell you something and trying to
They
surround you.
they haunt me.
No. Well, maybe your opportunity this week was to see who's really worth your time and energy into pouring into and who's pouring back into you as well.
Yeah, I think we had a conversation about that. One of my girlfriends and I were talking about that, and I think for me this week it was more about dealing with just physical pain from my back, and it was just easier to answer questions because you knew the answer versus listening to someone cycle, and I was just like, I just can't do this. I like
Hmm.
no, asshole, that's not the right answer. No, no.
Well, because then
So
it
I
puts
What's
think
you
the
down the
point?
drain.
between the physical pain and being enabler again, right? I'm just like, today you gotta just take a pause.
Well, and physical pain can drain you mentally. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so you're off your guard
Yep.
when you're focusing so much on the pain and
Oh yeah.
just exhausted.
It's hard to not focus on the pain.
Hmm.
Right. And maybe distracting yourself by maybe having those conversations was your way of trying to work through the painful experience that you were doing with the body, maybe?
It could have been, or it could have just been I had a moment of weakness and I was just like, F it. Nope, you're gonna make a big mistake if you do that.
Hmm.
Um, you
Do you
called.
feel
That's
like
my
it was true
opinion.
to you? Do you feel like you honored yourself in it?
Yeah.
Okay, then no matter what, the universe is going to have your back and support
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't cross any boundaries from an integrity perspective, my own integrity perspective, but I do feel like I just did a lot more. And Stephanie's probably right. The physical ailments are
Hmm.
overtaking a lot of my time right now.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
totally get that. I've been there where you're just so and it can be even just mentally
Yeah.
drained as well, where you're just like, I just want this person to go away, so I'm just
Yep.
gonna give them the answer. Just gonna,
Yep.
tell them. And I mean, I do that at work all the time because it's like I'm there just asking 500 million questions, the same thing, just a different way. So, so I'll just do it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then the
just I'll just
physical
do it because
ailments.
it's easier.
Hmm.
Well, when our body gets into dis-ease, usually it's a result of what are we not allowing ourselves to open up to as from an energy perspective, from my experiences, from what I have seen that when our body starts really working against us, universe is really trying to signal we need to focus our health here and let everybody kind of be on theirs because for so long, team, you've always been for everybody else. I got you. You got a doctor's appointment. You got something going on. You're upset about anything. I've seen you do it all the time. It's beautiful. I think that's what makes you a magical unicorn in my heart. But I've also seen at the same right, have those people come back around? Have they been able to support you? And on this platform right now, how can we support you if that's something that, you kind of sit with and letting us know where we can kind of be of help because that's kind of what this is for, right? Is to have those honest conversations about where things might not be showing up on how we may deserve that. But when you were mentioning about not stepping over on your integrity and still being who you are, I was just seeing like, okay, there's Sophia, there's this, there's that. So it's kind of beautiful to see how you embody these female archetypes. And though you've had a stressful kind of week, I know that it won't go unnoticed and uninvestigated. Like you will dissect through those experiences and find the power in it.
Oh yeah, I will. I will. And it is. It's me. Let's focus on Ainana because I think she has a lot.
Well, we take episodes and we focus on me the whole time. So I'm just saying if it needs to
We just
redirect you,
deflect. Let's focus Ainana.
okay, that's fine. If you're not comfortable, that's okay.
No,
Um,
it's not
This
comfort.
is
It's just
Tina
it is what it is, right?
setting her boundary or just being so mentally exhausted. She's like, let's just go, Nicole.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if
Like
it's not helping you unpack, then we'll redirect it. And Anana's background too is I got a couple of notes here, guys. It's a powerful ancient goddess, and she's associated with love, desire, power, sovereignty, fertility, and descent. Again, bird going into the water to get that fish, going into the deep dive, water being emotions, right? And doing it in a way where we're not guessing, second guessing ourselves. When that bird's making the plunge, they're making that full plunge directly into what their sights are, even if they're not fully sure what they're going into. Kind of similar energy, and it's beautiful because in learning about Ainana, anybody wants to let us know if we're saying it wrong, that's fine. Comment it down below. But the goal is just you kind of sharing that energy. And what I loved about it is that with Venus being surrounding in love and self worth, and there's so many other things, but beauty in all things, beauty in self. A lot of people, when Venus energy is going on, they can really make changes like to their style, their looks, their hair, what have you. But the point is that with Anana's energy, it kind of plays true with what we're currently experiencing with our Taurus super new moon that's happening tomorrow. So we could all be sitting with things that keep us in the shadow of that, right? Where are we not, where are we loving without boundaries, right? Where are we sacrificing ourselves? Um, and also, what is starting to build? You know what I mean? What's fertilizing under the surface that's about to sprout? And kind of redirecting our energy towards that and that kind of growth is kind of what I was feeling with the energy of Inanna and not even realizing the comparison with the current energies, which was really, really cool. But she chooses to go down into the underworld. As a Scorpio, same. Same, because we got to do the deep dive into where we are most afraid to descend to. Because it's when we face that fear that we realize all the power we had always. The power is always in our hands. It's just a matter of what we're allowing to control our thoughts.
so I think what's also important to understand about her is that although she is the goddess of love, beauty, war, fertility, and divine justice, she is not a soft archetype like Sophia. She's not at all gentle. She doesn't carry grace. She's passion and destruction. She's tenderness and fierce. And she holds the paradox the way that the best way to we for us to learn eventually. So to what you're saying, Nicole, she doesn't stop and listen to her limited beliefs, what's trying telling her to take that pause. She's just diving into it because she's trusting her own truth.
There's a lot of
And
Scorpio energy.
yeah, and I think that's where I find her to be unique compared to the archetypes we've been talking about. Um she's I don't I had a I had a phrase for it, but I've lost it. But um she's the one that speaks most directly to what we've been exploring around our intuition and fear.
Mhm. I think she's also more so like the other two that we've talked about are more of the different stages that you're in. Um, and Inanna is more of kind of both. You know, she started here, You know, she went down to the underworld, faced death, and then she came back transformed. So it's like she is a combination of the other two that we've been discussing.
Ooh. Well, yeah, because she teaches you how to listen inwardly before moving outwardly. Anybody that knows me, I used to move my whole outside world before I would go within. And that's kind of really um, beautiful. Like you can have softness and strength at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They can definitely cohabitate, right? Because I mean, you kind of need to be soft with yourself when you're going and doing this deep dive into the underworld of your psyche, right? So, and having the strength to do so, and being able to find that. And she invites us to receive truth instead of forcing clarity. Another thing. So a lot of it sounds like slowing down, right? Kind of slowing down and kind of sitting with what's really going on here. What is this experience really kind of showing me? Maybe.
I think yes and no on that pause, because Ainana and Sophia are not the same, but they balance each other beautifully by their differences. Um, so Sophia's wisdom, I think, is more eternal. It's always been what she's known. It's kind of like she's always known that that's who she's been and who she'll continue to be. Um, she doesn't earn her insight through suffering, where we learned Sedna did,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like Ainana as well. She holds the way, the light. She holds the light into the room of darkness so that she could lead the way for everybody else. But Ayana, from what I understand, is she's a little bit more forged. She knows because
Mm-hmm.
she went there. She lived it. She's not gonna second guess it. She's just gonna bulldoze her way through it, right? Um, she stood in that underworld with her sister and was stripped of everything she thought made her powerful, and she survived.
My
Well,
God, when you said that, I just freaked out in my soul. I was just telling my husband yesterday when you said this, it really dawned on me. I said to him, um, I was like, with all what has me not stepping off of my boundaries now with a lot of things is the knowing that all that I've overcame so many substance abuse addictions or what have you, that there's something in me not faltering. There's a power in me not turning back no matter what, because I know what that experience has already brought. And I feel like when you said what you just said, it completely just slap me in the face to that. Like I know what it's like. I know what that experience is and I know what it brings, and there's no second guessing that anymore. So it's like finding the truth rather than pressure.
Well, and I think Sophia's always been the voice of secure detachment. She knows she's worthy, and she doesn't need to prove it. She's confident in who
mm-hmm.
she is. Ainana is the voice of earned security. So I kind of relate that to like earned trust.
Mm-hmm.
She's someone who
Trusting yourself.
moved through anxious moments, fear based emotions, loss, and found her way back to herself and came back stronger.
I love
Mm-hmm.
It's just very interesting where that balance is, even though they feel a bit different. It's that nice balance of having like an overly confident friend on one side and one who's less confident, and you're like stuck in the middle.
being the balancing force between the two. Well, I mean, the light side of it really is the embodiment, the compassion, but there's a shadow when the feminine is wounded. She can mistake peacekeeping for alignment and forget her own voice. That makes me think about the people pleasing.
Sure. And Sophia's always been about the becoming, who we're becoming. I was going to say Sedna. Ayana is who we've been. So Ayana
Mhm.
is more about like working through our personal struggles to what you just said, Nicole, a few moments ago, is I've been there or gotten through it. Like you stripped yourself of everything that you were to rebuild yourself. That's Ayana. Like she's allowing you that opportunity to to become so vulnerable to bring you back to your roots.
Yeah, I
All
think she
about
shows
discernment.
up in seasons of intensity
Mm,
in your life. You know, she's not subtle.
right. Yeah. I
I
think
love
she's
that.
in every room we sit in on like every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because discernment really is important, is really important, and you grow discernment in this experience because of the self trust.
Right.
From like, because the theme today is really like building that self trust, and how does that look, and what does it look like when we're in the shadow of it, right? Is I think is important. Oh, another one, emotional honesty. Mhm. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely seems like getting real because you have the light, the shadow, and then you have the growth. And in the growth, that path of the feminine is learning to receive does not mean surrendering yourself. And again, that makes me think of people pleasing or self sacrificing for others. Oh my God, I'm just obsessed with how she is right now. She's so cute.
Yeah, I think that she shows up a lot in like shedding old identities or roles that we may have. Like talk Nicole, you've talked about like you know, the addictions that you've had in the past and all of that. So you're um and not just there, like even in, like last week we talked about the different belief systems, you know,
Hmm.
shedding those. Um just I don't know, finding a version of yourself and releasing the old version and finding one that keeps you safe.
Follow through.
Yeah.
Like follow through is a real big one that I see with this energy too, is following through on what you're saying you're going to do for yourself. You know what I mean? If like you're gonna say that, like when I said I was gonna do my 3 day cleanse, where's it at? I didn't do my 3 day cleanse yet. There was always a reason why something came up. But in all honesty, it sounds silly and small, but for me, those micro things that I would tell myself I would do and then not do it ends up building a sense of self, not trusting yourself when you don't have that follow through. And with Anana's energy, I really feel that there's something to that. Like, what are we telling ourselves, and then what are we backing out on? Like, because when we do that, that ends up creating limits within ourselves of our trust that also outwardly shows up, because then we're not necessarily trusting ourselves or our follow through with people around us. Just kind of how I was kind of feeling when it's come to this, or how I was able to relate it into my own personal experiences, is kind of how I really feel um, was important. Like saying what you actually feel, don't holding back on it.
Hmm.
Just like what you were sharing, you might have some things that come up with the boundaries and kind of speaking on, right? Is that a little bit of like how you're integrating Inanna in that regard?
Right.
Honoring,
Yeah.
honoring that energy by honoring yourself, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you got to do it shaking.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, in that moment, it sounds like a perfect time for Stephanie's purposeful pause.
Alrighty. So, you know, we this week we've focused on trust, intuition. Um, so self trust isn't rebuilt through grand gestures. It returns in small, honest moments where you choose yourself again. It begins when you pause long enough to notice what's happening inside you, what you feel, what you need, what truth is quietly asking to be acknowledged. Let yourself soften into that awareness. Let consistency matter more than perfection. Let curiosity take the place of judgment. You don't have to get it right, you just have to stay in relationship with yourself. And just a few tools to help you um, get back into self-trust, trusting yourself, believing in yourself, is a shift from perfection to consistency. It doesn't require flawless execution, just reliable effort in yourself. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you deposit into your internal trust account. Um, Shifting from self-judgment to self-witnessing. So instead of why am I like this, what is this moment showing me about what I need? And then this moves you from shame to clarity. Shift from outsourcing truth to referencing your own signals. So instead of asking, what would somebody else do? What feels true to my body, my values, my timing? So this is going to recenter you into your inner authority. And shift from urgency to pacing. So self-trust grows in environments where you're not rushing yourself into decisions or identities. You're slowing down. That's not avoidance, it's alignment. Practical tools to rebuild self-trust daily. So there's small, repeatable practices that create evidence of reliability. So do a 3 promise method. Each morning, promise 3 tiny things to yourself. Realistic, like drink 1 full glass of water, step outside for 2 minutes. Put your phone down for an intentional pause. So just starting with these small things can let yourself know that I follow through. And then during those times, do an inner check. So what am I feeling? What do I need? And what is one small action that honors that need? So you're building your emotional self attunement and sorry, looking at my notes.
No, this is great. I love the tools and everything you're talking about. It's wonderful.
I found something about a truth first journal. So write 1 sentence each day beginning with the truth is, and then this strengthens your relationship with your own inner voice. And then also boundary reps. So practice 1 low stakes boundary per day. You love boundaries. Something even as saying I'm not available tonight, or if you're going out, choose the restaurant, or ask for clarification on something that you don't know. I mean, these are small things that you're setting a boundary instead of just following along. That is like building muscle self-protection, or muscle of your self-protection. And then do a self-return ritual. So when you notice that you've abandoned yourself, overcommitted, Tina, ignored a need, overridden a feeling, pause and say, I'm going to come back to myself right now. And then take a regulating breath, a stretch, a step outside. So I want to give a challenge to everybody today. Keep 1 tiny promise to yourself today. Something simple, something doable, and something that reminds your nervous system that I can rely on me. And when you catch yourself drifting, overriding your needs, abandoning your boundaries, and slipping back into your old patterns, don't shame yourself, just return. Gently, intentionally, as many times as it takes. Self-trust grows in these micro returns, in the quiet moments where you show yourself, I hear you, I honor you, I follow through. This is how you come home to yourself again.
I love it. Micro changes are everything, guys. At first, it can be so difficult, and you will fall back easily into old patterns because, I mean, we're human. But what's beautiful is that in moving forward, when we fall back into those, because of these kinds of conversations or using some of these tools of reflection and whatnot, then we almost honor ourselves of being like, okay, this was something that was done. This is, I acknowledge it, and let's shift. I think that comes with being, honest with yourself, giving yourself grace, and how you kind of move, because those micro changes over time will create macro changes in your life. Living proof of experience here. Tina sent us a picture of this gorgeous cardinal on her umbrella right now. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
My son, he loves to do it every time we record. Loves to do it. Um, quit. Reminding you that you're always being watched out for. You are always being looked over. Spirit is always all around you, is what I see when I look at that. Even to the blue umbrella, thinking about water, which is emotion. And then when you brought up today, Stephanie, about something that you can do today, I was like, for today, I'm going to honor my truth and be mindful of where I am and not honoring my truth for today. So that's kind of the challenge and the takeaway that I would like to take away for today's experience on our show, and then see where I'm not. Really stepping into observation mode, because I feel like when we do these things and we set out an intention for the day, the universe has a real beautiful way of kind of showing us throughout the whole day as reminders, so we don't just forget, like, oh, I said I was going to do this morning until I forgot. The universe will start showing up because we kind of step more into observation. So that's kind of what I'm going to challenge myself with. Did you ladies have anything that kind of came to you when Stephanie was sharing?
Yeah, I think for me today it's going to be about paying more attention how much I'm showing up for myself versus others. And then how I'm connecting those moments of me time to my value system. So what did I do today that I pushed others aside for, that was important for me? Check it off and make myself feel as if I did honor my own presence and my own needs.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's powerful.
I think I am going to, I'm going to journal after we get done, because I think I need to get myself into a grounding, for, the funeral coming up for my grandma, and just everything that, the emotions that are going to be there. So I just want to, I don't want to fall back into my, I would say, my reactive personality, and just be able to focus on what needs to be focused on at that moment.
That's a true test for
And
you, Stephanie.
It is.
It's a
really
hard
is.
one.
Because if anybody knows me from back in the day, I was a Spitfire, and I was very reactive. So I want to make sure that I'm intentional in being in the moment that I need to be in, and letting that go until later on.
Do you know how many times I went to funerals for like my ex's families that like I liked but could give two shits about him? Walk right up to the casket, walk up to the four people, and then walk out. People would be like, "Wow, she didn't even have like she didn't have no qualms about not stopping and acknowledge. No, I'm not there for them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
I'm not there for them."
And I need to focus on holding that holding my reactions.
Hold that space for yourself, and knowing that by me not being reactful, I'm honoring myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you're honoring your grandmother.
Exactly.
Which you now embody. So she might be a little Spitfire for you too, and letting that be like, no, grandma's saying this right now.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have some beautiful ways about you. And I feel that when you empower that, you can really reach people in a way that they might otherwise be more reactionary you kind of put them in a place of like pause, really, to be
Mhm.
honest, not trying to spin off of Stephanie's purposeful pause,
Right.
but you do. It's kind of like sit with that for a minute, and the ones that are reactful just know that's just their own inner. When
Exactly.
we can really turn that back around, like, because if we're reactionary, okay, well, we've got a trigger, we've got a wound, we've got a scab that's getting tugged at right
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
So reminding ourselves, and that's what's beautiful about your spiritual journey, that we've been talking about how it's unfolding. And I think I recall in the beginning you sharing with your spiritual journey about that being something very important to you, being more intentional with responding than
Yes.
reactionary. So the universe is going to kind of provide you with not the patience, but the experiences for you to have patience with, or you know what I mean, experiences for you to respond in rather than reacting in.
Right.
I always say that when people are like, I'm asking all the time for patience. Okay, so you're not going to be just given patience, you're going to be given experiences that you'll need to use your patience for,
Right.
and that's kind of one of those moments, I think, is what is beautiful about our journeys, is because your grandmother's loving the fact that you're really trying to be mindful and intentional on how you show up in this experience, rather
Mhm.
than what could be easier to be like point and blame, pissed off of everybody, because it's a list of emotions of grief that we all go through.
Right.
But also honor that grace in you, right? I think one of the hardest things I had to do, well, it wasn't so hard for me. It's hard for my mother, was honoring my father's boundaries. When he was dying, he didn't want his brothers to know.
Mhm.
I was not to call them until after he passed. And my mother could not wrap her head around that. We can't do that. Those are his brothers. I'm like,
Right.
it's his decision, not
Mhm.
yours.
Yep.
Well, I'm like, Mom, I'm like, I have to respect what he's asking. There's a reason why he's asking for it. Let's just go with the flow. Now, the old Tina would tell you how much joy it brought me to call my two asshole uncles and tell them that their brother died. The new Tina will say it hurt a bit to have to pick up a phone and
Yep.
say, I just want to let you know my father passed. What do you mean he passed? And then this big hubbub at the funeral. I knew it was coming, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, you want to ask what you want to talk to him? We'll talk to him. They're
Right.
like, no, we wanted to talk to him while he was still alive. I said, well, then you should have picked up the fucking phone.
Right.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Or you should have showed up. He was sick, not you. Like, that's when you had the time to talk to him. If you can't talk to him now because he's lying in a state of peace, that's on you. That's not on me. That's not my burden to carry.
Mhm.
What a powerful way to look at that, though,
Oh,
truly.
piss.
No, but truly though, because it could be very easy to not even question or look at the fact that you're completely right. You had all the opportunities in the world to connect. How long was
Mhm.
he sick for that you decided
20
I'm too
something
busy?
years.
Right, that you decided I was too busy
Mhm.
Yep.
My husband doesn't
until
even want me
after.
to tell his brother that
Yeah,
that
you
he
talked
passed.
about that.
That he passes. He doesn't even want him to know.
I'm pretty sure my father didn't want anybody to know, but I settled for I'll wait till after you pass to let them know.
Yep.
I just want a celebration. I want a tree growing ceremony out on the property. A little beautiful match. Throw some ashes all over the fucking place. Make it
We're gonna make
magical.
you a tree, Nicole.
Yeah,
We're gonna make you into
please.
a willow tree.
Thank you.
I'm
Willow
gonna give her a
tree,
Viking
cherry
funeral.
blossoms. What?
You're gonna have a Viking funeral.
Yeah.
We'll put part of you in a tree, and the rest of you we're gonna put on a little built raft and float down the stream in your property.
Right, with fire attached to it.
Yes. Yeah, write letters to me and then burn them on the raft.
Yep.
Ooh, don't make me get super spiritual. I will. I'll get all excited about it. But it should be magical. It should be a magical experience, but you will still have your people that will show up to act like they're warranted, to act the way that they
Mhm.
want to act and put on a show, and just know that they're putting on that show because they just want to be seen and they
Mhm.
don't know how to see themselves.
Yep.
So let him put on the show. That's kind of how I looked at it with some personal experiences. It's like, what if this is really the situation, and what if it is just you naturally? And deciding the difference on that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, because it can bring out a lot of feelings for people that they're not expecting, of course. And then there could just be, well, this is just who you are. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And you got to honor yourself regardless in that. Because I've been lately, this might be a little off topic, but I feel it's coming too, so I might as well bring it up. Lately, the people that I've decided to go no contact with, right? Though I had difficult experiences with them, I find myself lately seeing the beautiful memories too. And wanting to remind myself more now that just because I went no contact and that's a decision I made for myself doesn't mean that I have to remember them for the difficulties that I endured. I'd
Mhm.
rather remember the beauty and the experiences that we did have both with my aunt, my sister, and I mean this, it's really been coming up lately, certain friendships, and wanting to have peace with them that way. I think that can kind of reign true when we have, funerals of people that we physically lose. Kind of, let's remember the good stuff and
Mhm.
hold on to those, but not forget the difficulties of why we chose to move forward the way that we did with those people.
Right.
And I don't think no contact has to be permanent. I think no contact could
Exactly.
just be a period of time in which you allow yourself to heal in the areas in which you thought you might have been healed or you needed a little more time or something new came up. Um, I think it's beautiful that you're having memories that make you feel good,
Yes.
because it just brings a little more light to your life.
Hmm.
Um, and who knows? Maybe 5, 6 years ago, 5, 6 years from now, you'll be feeling different about the situation
Absolutely.
and looking for a way to reach out. You don't know.
Mhm.
I'm always open. I do know that in honoring that, I'd have to be a lot more action based seeing rather than words because for my own personal journey, words have been to my detriment for a long time because I would fall on the words of people because
Mhm.
I would see them at a soul level and I would excuse their actions. So I just want to make sure in that, however, that shifts moving forward, that I'm very mindful of like seeing the actions and not falling for necessary what might sound like a good fluff for the moment.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the power in life though. We have our moments where we will look at more of the darker aspects of things, but honoring ourselves by seeing that there's light and dark in everything and
Mhm.
where the growth can come of it. Because like Tina said, in honoring myself, even if it's no contact for now, the amount of growth and safety and balance I've been able to make within myself and in my environment, that I feel that if I was to, for any reason, be back in those environments, if say there was a funeral or something like that, because that was something that came to me too, that I would kind of be confronted with people at a funeral and knowing that no matter how they experience or want to experience towards me, that I don't have to allow that to shift the power within me and my
Mhm.
knowing. And I think that might be a message also for you as well, Stephanie, is that even though I'm going into these environments, I know who I am and how to honor that and know that it's just a reflection of their own internal world. So I don't know if that means that somebody is going to pass it, it's going to bring us all to the same table or what, but
Yeah.
we shall see.
Mhm.
We shall
And
see.
going back to you talking about, remembering, the good memories. You
Mhm.
know, there is light and shadow like we talk about, but just because something has light doesn't mean it's good for you as
Right.
well. So, um but I think it is good for you in your journey of healing through everything that you do remember the light that was there, the good times. Because I think then that's also going to help you to move on and to heal.
Yeah, I think finding that light in that no contact is more about your healing process than it is anything else because you went no contact for a reason because something was still triggering you. So
Yes.
being allowed to have that space to figure out what that was, how to manage it, how to react to it, when you are faced with running into that individual, you will handle it however you feel best, but you won't be judged for it because nobody really gives a shit, Nicole. I'm telling you right now, nobody pays attention to anyone but themselves these days.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the biggest confidence boost when walking into any room is that knowing everybody's got their own shit that they got going on, and in the world that we're in, it's pretty overwhelming. But the beauty in this shift that's happening as a collective is that we're all being faced with ourselves, so then that way, with what we've all been talking about, we can learn to trust ourselves, embody who we are, embody what we're meant to do here on this planet of service to others and ourselves and our immediate surroundings, and what that looks like in a world full of chaos. Some people are going to let that chaos look like a tornado outside of them, and some people might look calm as a cucumber and the tornado's happening inside of them. We never fully know, do we? So the best thing that we can do is just honor ourselves and honor everybody's processes, but by honoring other people's processes, still honoring ourselves with boundaries. Hill. Ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
I hear something. Tina's reflection time. You hear that? Just kind of flew in like a cardinal.
All right, bear with me, ladies. It's a little longer than usual, but I felt it was appropriate.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to close with something that I'm hoping we can all sit with, but I'm not asking anybody to solve for it. Just sit with it. Somewhere in your life right now, you're standing at a gate. Maybe you've already passed through it. Something was quietly taken that you haven't yet named. A preference, a boundary, a dream, a version of yourself if you stopped voicing somewhere along the way. You don't have to know exactly what it was. Sometimes the body knows before the mind catches up. Sometimes the only evidence is a low grade ache, even attributing to everything else. Or maybe you're approaching a gate. You can feel the threshold. There is something asking you to give something up, your comfort, your certainty, your armor, and some part of you is bracing. And you're trying to figure out, is this intuition asking me to let go? Or is this fear asking me to comply? Here's what Ainana knows, that she wants you to carry her with you. The descent is not the end of the story. Every gate that strips something from you is also a gate you will one day walk back through. And the other side, what was taken will be returned, not always in the same form, sometimes in a form that fits you better than the original ever did, sometimes in a form you didn't know you needed until you had emptied enough to receive it. The question I'm inviting you to hold this week is not answer, just hold. How do I avoid the descent? Why am I being asked to release so that I can rise in the truest version of myself? And underneath that is the voice asking me to hold on right now. Sophia's quiet, grounded, and knowing. Or is it fear dressed in the language of wisdom? You already know how to tell the difference. That knowing lives in the body, in the breath, in your belly, in the place that goes quiet when something is true. It has been there the whole time, keeping that answer safe for you, waiting for the moment you were still enough to hear it and call it forward. When you're ready, it will be there. And Ainana, she'll be here when you come back. She doesn't leave. That's the thing about archetypes who know the underworld. They are not afraid of the dark, and they are not in any rush. She'll be waiting at whatever gate comes next. So take good care of yourselves. All sit with the embodiment of what's next, but just sitting with it and give yourself a little grace to trust. There are to trust the archetypes that are around us.
Love that. Love that. You know the song Powerful by Juicy Smollett that was from Empire?
What?
You ever see Empire, the show Empire? The music show? It was forever
No.
ago. Oh.
No.
Well, there is a song called "Powerful" by Juicy Smollett is his name, and what the hell is her name? Alicia Keys. That came to me when you were saying what you were saying, and I was like, huh, interesting. So if anybody is listening, something maybe to listen to today and try out, because to pretty much close for today, it's not about perfection, it's about practice. That is the main thing to really take away from today. Because we want to allow ourselves to know that the journey is the experience. It's not the destination. Referring right back to Tina, referring right
Yeah.
back to Stephanie.
And I
Um,
mean, let's dumb it down a little bit. When you're driving in your car and you're using your navigation system and you miss that turn, what does the woman say? Recalculating. She doesn't go, oh shit, now we're lost, Tina. Great job.
Well, that's what mine says. But
but we'll get you back on track.
What didn't you understand about take a right here?
Mhm.
So, like our body has a way of navigating us through some of
Yes.
those biggest shifts in our life. We're either going to feel it before we do it, or we're going to feel it after we do it, but we're always given an opportunity to do it again.
Yeah, and sometimes you want to take the scenic route, and that's okay, because each time you're gonna see something that you might have missed before.
Right.
So that's really kind of a really great way to kind of look at that, because the more you choose yourself, the easier it becomes to recognize yourself.
Yep.
I like the scenic route
Me
because
too.
you're taking your time. You're not being rushed through the city streets or whatever. So you have that time to slow yourself down.
I am a back
I
road
know,
girl.
clear.
I am too. I'm a back road girl.
I'll find
All day
you
long.
any way to any state without getting on a highway.
I enjoy the scenic route. All right, beautiful souls. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning, today, Friday. Have a beautiful weekend. Honor yourself. Take micro steps that just empower you, whatever that looks like. No, you can't. You can live out of alignment, but the universe is always going to help you shift back into alignment. So take the pause, take the moment, and allow clarity to come. As I always say, beautiful souls, you woke up today because your freaking soul has purpose on this planet and is so needed at this time. So please go out there and live it authentically, true to you, and not anybody else. Okay, ladies, anything you'd like to finish with before we close for the weekend?
No, I just wish Stephanie luck. I know she's got it. If that tongue lashes, it's okay.
Yeah,
Don't
own it. You
Don't
got
get
support here.
yourself-
We'll back you up anyways. So
sometimes maybe your grandmother's gonna come in and say what she just needed to say through you.
Uh-huh.
So just honor whatever's happening and just be true to yourself.
that's it.
I will. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
it.
Love and light, beautiful souls. See you Monday.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
Every time. My dogs
Yep.
say